What's up YouTube? This is another barber YouTube tutorial video. And in this tutorial, I will be doing a flower design. And I'll be using my Wall Reflection Seniors and my Andis T outliner. I also will be using my straight razor pen and my straight razor itself. So right now I'm just taking down the bulk with my 1.5 guard. And I'm going all the way up to the hat band. And I think that 1.5 is a good guard to use for designs. It's just the right amount of hair left on the head. So you can see I just pull down the ear, get behind the ear. And in the consultation, I already went over with her that she wants the 1.5 all the way up to the hat band. And for those who don't know, I work at Moderno Barbershop in Concord, New Hampshire. I'm there 6 days a week. I'm there Tuesday through Sunday. Alright, this part right here I slowed down for a reason. I'm using the comb and I'm combing backwards, and what that's doing is it's lifting up all the hairs, so when I go over it with the clipper it's picking up the hairs more easily. So this is just a little trick that I like to use in areas that are a little harder to get, where the area is a little bit more darker than the rest. And the back is usually always more thick than the rest of the hair, so I try to go over that area a little bit more times than usual, just to make sure I got everything. Alright, now I'm going into it with the design part. So I'm starting out with my half circle, which is going to be the flower bud. I'm just using my corner of the blade for this. And that's usually just the first couple teeth of the blade that I'm using. Making sure I use my duster to get all the hairs off so it's easier to see. And the whole time I'm using 2 hands to hold the clipper to make sure that I have a steady hand while doing it. Leaves less room for error. And I'm holding the clipper closer to the blade, almost like I would on a pencil, for more control over it. I'm just going in different angles to get all the hairs that I can while keeping the line thin. This particular design, the line was thin. And I'm using my taper comb. It has smaller teeth instead of a brush. I like using the taper comb for designs. It's just a preference, but the taper comb itself is a good comb to use if you're gonna use a comb because of the spacing between the teeth. It grabs more of the hair. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. It's Jared the Barber. Feel free to comment below. So I made the first initial line with my clipper holding it the correct way, the regular way. And then afterwards I went in holding my clipper upside down to shape up the bottom line. So I first go with my clipper one way and then I switch it up for detail work. Okay, now I'm fading out the bottom portion. So I'm starting with my one guard open. Then I'm gonna go to my one guard close. Then I'm gonna go down to a half guard. And so I'm fading down to skin. I'm doing the same thing at the bottom of the petals. I'm gonna fade it down to skin. Oh, I'm sorry, down to a half guard. And to get out the line between the number one guard and the half guard close, you can open up the half guard. You can go right above the line. So you can go a little bit into where the number one guard was to get out that line. Then I just go back into it with the corner of my blade after to just double check and make sure my detail work is all good. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just using the corner of the blade. Going in with my half guard open. Half guard closed. Double checking my lines, making sure they're crisp after the fading's done. Get out any imperfections that I didn't notice before the fade was put in. And that sort of detail work is easier to do after you're done all the steps. That's my half guard open again. So I go half guard open up top and then half guard closed at the bottom. Now I'm just going back over my lines again, making sure they're all good. Using different angles, holding the blade differently. And in this haircut, I'm doing a high taper, so I'm starting to line my first guide line, the top of the ear, to the bottom of the eyebrow. And I have the line set at an angle, going up, pointed up. Then I'm going in about a ½ inch over that line with my no guard open. So for this process, I'm fading up. Now I'm going in with my number 1 guard. And then all the cleanup work is going to be done with my half guard. And now I start with it closed, and then I move towards open once I get more towards where the 1 guard was used. I'm setting in my line for the lineup, and I'm doing the curve, the C-cup. Then after I do those steps, I like to go back over where I used my 1.5 guard before. I'm just going over that area. Going over it, and then you can use the 1 guard all the way open to go over some of the areas where you use the 1.5 guard. Just in that area where I did the fade, the taper. Going over with the 1 guard open. I'm only going in about a centimeter for the lineup. Right here I slowed down, I wanted to show you guys, so I'm really just using my hand as a pivot. I'm not moving my whole hand. You can see it's all in the thumb to go around the ear. That's a lot easier to do than moving your whole hand. It's just working that one area and pivoting it to make that arch around the ear. So you can see it's about top of the ear to the bottom of the eyebrow. Going in with my foil razor, balding it out. On the other side, I did the same thing. I used the foil razor, I just didn't get that part in to bald it out completely. Make sure it's all the way down to skin before I go into it. Going in with my no guard open again, only about a ½ inch. Now I close it to get out that bottom line. I'm closing that to get out that bottom line. I'm only going up a little bit, just right above that line to get it out. And then I'm adjusting the lever from there until I get back to the no guard open to fade that line out. Now I'm using my Wahl balding clippers, only using the corner blade to get out that bottom line. That's a good trick to do, is just either with your outliners, your small clipper, or if you have a balding clipper, you can use the corner of it, and you could pick out that bottom line. You could just flick out motion, pick out that bottom line with any clipper that can do that. And again, I'm using the corner with right behind the ear. I'm going one guard open, and I'm blending that into where I use the 1.5, just to go over that area. You can tell her hair has a lot of dark spots and light spots, so it's good to go over the 1.5 with the one guard open. Yeah, sending in my line for the lineup, for the arch. I'm using my thumb for that too. Just pivoting it. All right, here we go. I'm putting on the shaving cream. I'm using Elegance Clear Shaving Gel. I'm putting that on. I'm going in with my straight razor pen. I forgot the exact brand of it, the name of it. I'm just using that as a pencil. You use that just like you would any like pen or pencil, just going in, stretching out the skin, holding one part of it down. Using it just like I would a pencil. And I still use my taper comb for this. You're gonna wanna use, even though you're using the straight razor, you still wanna comb all the excess hairs out so you can see your work and what still needs to be done. Because if there's still small hairs where you're going over, you're gonna think it still needs to be cut. So you wanna make sure you get all those out of the way. Depending on the person's scalp, you're gonna wanna go over it with the shaving gel a couple of times, because it's gonna dry out. Now I'm going in with my regular straight razor. I'm just making sure those lines really stick out. Stuff that I couldn't sharpen up with the pen, I'm gonna go into it so I can have that flat surface to really get those lines to pop out. Now after all that's done, going back into it, just making sure my fade's good. Because once you do the straight razor work and the lineup, the rest of it really sticks out what you need to do for the fade. The more lines pop out that you didn't see before, that pop out, that you go, okay, I need to go back into that area, I need to fix that up. And that's most of the work with just my half guard. So I just did the lineup. Now I'm going back over the taper, making sure it's straight. Guys, like I said, make sure to like and subscribe. Put down in the comments if you want me to do any other certain haircuts that you want a tutorial for, let me know.